Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel, and this week I wanted to do my end of year roundup by giving you a flavour of what I feel are my 5 favourite games, war games of 2024. These are games predominantly that I've played with a couple of special mentions to round off. These are not in any particular order, these are just games where we've had memorable experiences or rules that I think we've particularly taken a liking to within our group that we play, and certainly ones that we'll play again going forward. I hope to also do a video on my board games of 24 as well, but this one is very much war games focused. So without further ado, and as I say, in no particular order, the first game for me, war game, is War is Our Homeland from Joshua Rowe, the Thinking Man Games. Joshua Rowe, fairly new in the circuit wargaming wise. These are war games rules for big battles during the age of the Tertio, and we've used this for a number of scales that we have, both 30 Years' War, English Civil War, for example, and a few others as well. I've also bought a number of his scenario books. These are all PDF purchases. I've then just printed this out for my own use. Really different way of approaching a war game. There's a lot of friction in this type of game. There's a real historical, I feel, a real kind of period flavour in terms of that pike, push of pike, the attritional aspects of the game. We've played this quite a few times, enjoyed it a lot. There's only very few statistics in the game, so you've got shooting combat values, defensive values, mobility value, and a firing value. So each of those values rely on you having a card of that value to be able to utilise that ability. Some mean that your units are a little bit more flexible with their movement, maybe a bit better with their firepower, better in a combat situation, etc. So some really interesting things in there. The card mechanic works really well with this game. You're only picking a number of playing cards a turn, and they're used purely to give you the ability to activate or not units under your command. So you can never use and utilize everything under your control each turn. So if you're looking for a game where you can do everything with everything, this is not the game for you. But what it does deliver is a real kind of period flavour war game, which covers a number of periods in this era. There's some scenarios in the back, for example. So you've got the German Protestants versus the Catholic League, one scenario in here. You've got Imperials versus the Swedes at Lutzen in 1632 as another. And just to give you one more as well, you've also got, if I can get to the map, the Franco-Swedish versus the Imperials in 1648. So it also, as I say, with the scenario books, covers things like the English Civil War and some of the other wars during this period as well. But that is a war game we will definitely continue to play. It's a very cost-effective, cheap game to purchase. You can get this on War Games Vault or directly through Thinking Man Games. War is Our Homeland, well worth a look. Game number 2 from the Society of Ancients is Alaha. This is War Games rules for Greek hoplite battles, and again comes in a nice package with a deck of cards, and really enjoyed this game. We played this with my Woefun Greek hoplites. Of course you can play it with other scales of normal figures. This is all about hoplite, close up, close quarter fighting. And so The game's very cleverly put together. Simon McDowell is the author, and it's the pre-game element is all about getting your troops motivated, getting them prepared for the final clash when the hoplites come together. You have got skirmishes and you've got cavalry and things like that in the game, but they play a more peripheral part. Although they're still important, it's the close combat of those clash of hoplites, phalanxes when they come together, that are the telling point of the game. So leaders are really important, making use of these abilities to get those troops motivated, get them prepared in the right mindset with omens and things like that, to get in there and destroy the enemy. So again, highly recommended. Again, a very cost effective game. You can buy this directly from the Society of Ancients, and there is some additional support available for this game as well, but highly recommended. Alaha. Okay, perhaps to something a little bit more mainstream. So this one is Ricewood's Press, Strength&Honour, from Mark Backhouse. Played a couple of games of this, hosted by Mark at a show a few years ago, and it was a must purchase as soon as it was released. A fabulous game. We played in 2mm, but you can quite easily play it in a larger scale if you wish. That's not a problem. You could even play it with blocks. You got lots of army lists in the back covering the sort of ancient period, and I believe there's just been a release with some additional scenarios covering things like Carthaginians and Romans as well. So excellent game. Again, some really different mechanics in here. Friction, it plays a big part. Again, it's about getting your troops in the right place at the right time to deliver the right things at the right time in the battle for you. The game includes lots of army lists, but there's a huge amount of support online, provided by Mark and through the Ricefits Press web pages, with Two Fat Lardies. But this game, highly recommended. Strength&Honour from Mark Backhouse. Next one is another game in the Two Fat Lardy stable, and that is WhatACowboy. We've had quite a few good games of this. You will have seen, I posted a video previously of games we've had of this. Great fun. Really nice, easy game for an evening with a group of people in your club. Just a couple of cowboys or a couple of figures each, and you can have a really good bit of fun with this. Get into the character, design your own scenarios. Yes, it's a skirmish game, and you've got a couple of characters, but you can really get as much or little out of that as you want. The actual mechanics of the game are really good, very similar to WhatACowboy in terms of how that works, with your dice allowing you to do different things in different orders. The key point I would say is you need plenty of scenery, but who doesn't have a few cowboys kicking around in the back of their war games cupboard? Or certainly if you haven't, you only need to paint a couple of figures, and it's quite a nice palette cleanser to the rank and file of those bigger armies that you collect. And you can build up your own little gang or posse as you wish. So highly recommended from Two Fat Lardies, WhatACowboy. So they're my main games. Additionally, one other one that's had a lot of play this year is Nevermind the Billhooks. So this one, Andy Callan, this is Nevermind the Billhooks Deluxe. So this was the sort of official book that came out following the release through Wargames Illustrated several years ago. This is a beautiful book. It covers lots of other eras and periods. To be honest, we've focused predominantly staying with Wars of the Roses. Build up some nice 28mm Wars of the Roses forces, and this delivers. It delivers fun. It's again not too technical. Some nice aspects to the game that add a little bit of flavour, a little bit of friction. But again, if you're looking for a small battle or a big skirmish and you like Wars of the Roses, give this a look. You know, it's not going to be for the rivet counter in terms of detail, but it does add a lot of period flavour, and it's fun. So highly recommended, never mind the bill hooks. So they're the 5 key games we've been playing throughout the year this year. A couple of other mentions, both in terms of games played. Nimitz by Sam Mustafa. If you're interested in naval warfare or war games, this is a cracking little game. Again, it's not for the rivet counter, it's not a detailed naval war games set, but in true Sam Mustafa style. It's beautifully written, some nice easy scenarios, and again, you don't need many figures, or indeed you could use bits of cardboard or blocks to represent ships. You don't need many of those to be able to play a game, but really easy to play, good fun for an evening, very little scenery, you just need your ocean cloth. Highly recommended, Nimitz by Sam Mustafa. And finally, honourable mentions, Midgard Heroic Battles, which has recently been released, again under Reiswitz Press. I'll get that out right eventually. I say it's an honourable mention because I haven't been able to actually get this to the tabletop yet. I bought the game, I've been poorly for a few weeks, I've been putting together my forces, but I've got to say, what a wonderfully illustrated and laid out book, inspirational, really nice production values. The game, I know, having watched a few videos on YouTube, is going to be great fun, very adaptable to whatever you already got in your collection. You'll be able to adapt it to this, whether it's Wars of the Roses, a bit of fantasy, 1066 Hastings, or anything really. You can adapt these rules to play for that. And there again, some really nice different dynamics in the game. Really looking forward to getting this one on the table. So that's Midgard Heroic Battles, and I think that was James Morris who wrote this one. Reiswitz Press, well worth a look, again through the Two Fat Lardies website. So that's my war game mentions, games of 2024. What does 2025 bring to the table? We don't know as yet. There's lots of new games on the horizon, which I'm sure will keep us all busy and interested with our hobby. But I hope those 5 key games and 2 honourable mentions have got you scrambling for your computers and your tablets and phones, if you haven't played them before, to have a look and find out a little bit more. But that's 2024, and look forward to bringing you more war games material in 2025. Thanks for watching.